Need to ask. Cancer, money, life? Call us now on 0808 134 1000.
I bought cars on finance, so I've made my claim.
If our lenders charge hidden commissions, then I've made my claim.
I could be on thousands.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim. It's so quick and simple.
You could be owed thousands in hidden commissions from vehicles bought on finance since 2007, even without the details.
I've made my claim.
Trust myclaimgroup.co.uk.
Claims made simple.
We know travel can be confusing. That's why I use travelup.com. Compare and book over 100 airlines and thousands of hotels. And while you're away, TravelUp has you covered. Get flight updates on delays and cancellations in a way that suits you. TravelUp provides this for over 100 airlines, so there's no need to have multiple travel apps on your phone. Book now on travelup.com or call 0207 580 5000. TravelUp. Flights, hotels, holidays.
Some people think life slows down in your 50s, but I'm just getting started. And I don't want my lot to have to worry about funeral costs. Let them spend their money on nicer things. So I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years, with Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one. And you're covered for the whole of your life. Unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Go online or talk to their friendly UK team in just one phone call. Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. And no annoying trips to the doctors either.
Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Now I'm with Cover Today, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To find out more about Cover Today, call our friendly UK team on 0800 470 4474 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Thanks for staying with NDTV. You're watching the Friday edition of the World Report. I'm Arjun, Samar, Mahendran. Let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has asked the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, to reconsider its $2.1 billion bailout to debt-ridden Pakistan, as it allows terrorists to, in fact, use its soil for launching state-sponsored attacks against Indian citizens. Now, a day after he visited Jammu and Kashmir, a defense minister is at the Bhuj Air Base in Gujarat. And remember, viewers, that in the midst of the recent military tensions, the Pakistani army attempted and failed miserably to target India's Bhuj using drones. The Bhuj Air Base was one of the installations targeted by the Pakistan military last week. Now, here's what the defense minister said in Bhuj.
निश्चित रूप से इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड से आने वाले $1 बिलियन के बड़े हिस्से को टेरर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को फंड करने में इस्तेमाल होगा, ऐसा मेरा मानना है। क्या यह इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड IMF द्वारा, जो कि एक इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, उसके द्वारा इनडायरेक्ट फंडिंग इसे नहीं माना जाएगा? मैं दुनिया के लोगों के सामने यह सवाल रखना चाहता हूं। इसलिए मैं मानता हूं कि आज के समय में पाकिस्तान को किसी भी तरह की आर्थिक सहायता टेरर फंडिंग से कम नहीं है। भारत यही चाहेगा कि IMF पाकिस्तान को अपनी $1 बिलियन की असिस्टेंस पर वह पुनर्विचार करे और आगे भी किसी भी तरह की सहायता देने से IMF परहेज करे।
For our viewers just joining in, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has asked the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, to in fact reconsider its $2.1 billion bailout to debt-ridden Pakistan. Now, this comes as the country allows terrorists to use its soil still for launching state-sponsored attacks against Indian citizens. Now, a day after he visited Jammu and Kashmir, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is at the Bhuj Air Base in Gujarat. You must remember that in the midst of the recent military tensions, the Pak Army attempted to target India's Bhuj using drones. The Bhuj Air Base was in fact one of the key installations targeted by the Pakistani military last week. And once again, here's what the Defence Minister had to say at Bhuj. And before we go to that, my colleague Gauri Dwivedi joins me on on this story. Gauri, a very clear statement coming in from the Defence Minister. I see a very clear statement, Gauri, in fact, coming in from the Defence Minister from Bhuj. And not just to Pakistan, but also to the IMF.
Absolutely. Indeed, Arjun, a very clear message, direction, and also intent when it comes to what really India's position is going to be. India has categorically said that any terrorist attack going forward will be an act of war. And that's exactly how any future attacks, if at all they take place, will be viewed. Now, where do most of these attacks are coming in? They are coming in from Pakistan. So it's not just a message to terrorists, it's also a message to Pakistan, which continues to harbor some of the most globally wanted terrorists in the world. So it's a message, a very clear, direct message to Pakistan. And as far as also, the fact that IMF and several other multilateral agencies around the world continue to keep funding the war machinery. At some point of time, there has to be a global consensus, a global position as to how long will these lending machineries continue, because at the end of the day, this money flows back to not the economy, not to the welfare of the people of Pakistan, but to the Pakistani terror machinery. And I think that is extremely important. It is maybe a matter of time before India is able to build some sort of a global consensus to end these financial helplines that fund terror instead of helping the ordinary Pakistani.
Well, thank you so much, Gauri, for getting us the latest on that. Now, moving on, Russia and Ukraine are set to hold their first direct peace talks in 3 years, viewers. Both countries have said, but hopes for a breakthrough remain dim. This after Russian President Vladimir Putin spurned an offer by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to in fact meet face-to-face in Turkey. Zelensky said he was sending a team headed by his defense minister to Istanbul for the talks, even as he said the Russian delegation did not include anyone who actually makes decisions, accusing Moscow of not only making efforts to end the war, but also ignoring Zelensky altogether. Now, Zelensky's announcement on Thursday comes after the Kremlin, in fact, said Putin had no intention to meet with him in Turkey, sending instead a junior delegation for the planned talks. It's a move that Estonian Foreign Minister Margus Sana has said was like a slap in the face. Listen into what the US President Donald Trump had to say meanwhile.
Після того, як ми зрозуміли рівень російської делегації, ми бачимо, що вони, на жаль, дуже несерйозно ставляться до реальних перемовин. Поки що ми не бачимо серед присутніх ті, хто дійсно ухвалює рішення, хоча це була, хочу нагадати, пропозиція русських до прямих перемовин, підтримка президента Трампа особисто, що лідери повинні зустрітися, але тим не менш.
He wasn't going to go. He was going to go, but he thought I was going to go. He wasn't going if I wasn't there. And I don't believe anything's going to happen, whether you like it or not, until he and I get together. But we're going to have to get it solved because too many people are dying. Thank you. You're going to land right now. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
India-US trade talks are progressing well, Commerce Ministry says. Now this as a team from India, in fact, led by Commerce and Industries Minister Piyush Goyal, will be going to Washington for further discussions. Here's what the Foreign Minister Jaishankar had to say, in fact. Listen in.
What we've heard on this particular visit by Minister Goyal is the fact that he's scheduled to meet two very important US figures of this Trump administration. Number one being the US Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. Number two being his Goyal's counterpart in the US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. very interestingly, two very important contextual points under which Goel's visit comes. Number one is the easing of the US-China trade ties. We've seen that tension go down. We've seen both the countries slash each other's tariffs, and that sort of is a dent to India's pitch as an alternative to China as a global manufacturing hub. Secondly, what's also interesting is India's WTO retaliation that happened a few days back. That could also be somewhat of a factor in this trade talks that are scheduled to begin from May 17th to May 20th. What's also interesting is the fact that one cannot rule out the fact that a mini trade deal or the first tranche of this India-US bilateral trade agreement could be done before July 8th. None of my top sources have ever ruled out that that is a possibility, that within that 90-day tariff pause window that India and the US have, that there could be a trade deal. Also, what's interesting is that the last time Minister Goel visited the UK, within 2 days, there was an FTA announcement. We heard that joint FTA announcement come out by the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, as well as the UK Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. So nothing can be ruled out. In fact, a mini trade deal could very well be on the cards post this visit by Minister Goel.
A fresh bail petition filed by fugitive diamond trader Nirav Deepak Modi has been rejected by the High Court of Justice, the King's Bench Division in London. Now, this is the 10th bail petition, viewers, since his detention in the UK, which was successfully defended by the CBI through Crown Prosecution Services in London. The bail arguments were strongly opposed by the Crown Prosecution Service advocate, who was ably assisted by a strong Central Bureau of Investigation team consisting of investigating and law officers who in fact travelled all the way to London for this sole purpose. The CBI successfully defended the arguments, which resulted in the rejection of the bail for the 10th time. Fugitive businessman Nirav Modi's bail plea has been rejected. President Donald Trump has pledged to strengthen US ties to the UAE and announced deals with the Gulf state totaling over $200 billion. In fact, and the two countries also agreed to deepen cooperation in artificial intelligence, or AI. Now, after Trump's meeting with UAE's President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the White House has said he announced deals that include a $14.5 billion commitment from Etihad Airways to invest in 28 Boeing 787s and 777X aircraft powered by engines made by America's GE Aerospace. Listen in.
I have absolutely no doubt that the relationship will only get bigger and better. Your relationship and mine can't get better, so I can't say it's going to get better because it's at the highest level it can be. But our countries will work together. We've become a very hot country. We were not such a hot country 6 months ago. And now I think we're the hottest country, if you want to know the truth.
And Donald Trump says Iran has sort of agreed to the terms of a deal on the future terms of its nuclear program. In fact, on a visit to Doha, the US president said, and I'm quoting here, "I want them to succeed. I want to end up being a great country. But they can't have a nuclear weapon. It is very simple, really. It's not like I need to give you 30 pages worth of details. It's only one sentence. They cannot have a nuclear weapon." Listen in.
And you probably read today the story about Iran has sort of agreed to the terms. They're not going to make, I call it in a friendly way, nuclear dust. We're not going to be making any nuclear dust in Iran. And we've been strong. I want them to succeed. I want them to end up being a great country, frankly, but they can't have a nuclear weapon. That's the only thing. It's very simple. It's not like I have to give you 30 pages worth of details. There's only one sentence. They can't have a nuclear weapon.
Amid the backlash in India over Turkey's support for Pakistan in the India-Pakistan conflict, India's civil security regulator, the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security, or the BCAS, on Thursday, in fact, revoked the security clearance of an Indian arm, Celebi Airport Services India of Turkey headquartered airport ground handling major Celebi aviation holdings in the interests of national security with immediate effect. Scripting a new chapter in regional dynamics, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has spoken with Taliban's acting foreign minister Amir Khan Muttaqi over an official phone call. Now, this call, viewers, assumes significance as it is the first ministerial-level outreach by India to Afghanistan's Taliban administration. Dr. Jaishankar, in fact, called Mr. Muttaqi comes days after Afghanistan's Taliban regime, which New Delhi is yet to officially recognize, just by the way, condemned the Pahalgam terror attack. The Department of Homeland Security and Secret Service are investigating a social media post by former FBI Director James Comey that several US officials are interpreting as calling for the assassination of President Donald Trump, the US Homeland Security Secretary has said. My colleague Vishal joins me for more on this story. Vishal, seashells and a number, a ciphered number at that. What do you make of this?
So what the authorities and the Republican Party and its supporters are saying is that the numbers 8647 actually denote the fact that it's a threat on Trump's life. 86 is a number widely used by mafia in the US to say that someone needs to be executed. And 47 is the number, the 47th president of the US, which is Donald Trump. So if you combine the two, it is a direct threat on Trump's life. But so far, there is no concrete proof to ascertain that James Comey has given this threat to Trump. But authorities nonetheless are investigating because there have been, as you and I and the viewers know, that there have been repeated attempts on Donald Trump's life, particularly in the year 2024 when there were 2 attempts on his life. And also the fact that there has to be some connection between the past because Trump and Comey both have they share some kind of history because back in 2016 when the poll campaign was going on, there was a big case spearheaded by FBI that involved a connection between Trump campaign and Russia. And that was when Comey was fired by Trump. There was another investigation in which Hillary Clinton was involved. So all of that led to James Comey's firing. And so there has been a history between both the leaders, and that since then Comey has been quite critical of Donald Trump. So all of that could be considered by the authorities when they start this investigation, when they escalate this investigation. The investigation has already started.
And this controversy, of course, will only explode after this. But for the time being, thank you for getting us and our viewers the latest. Now, moving on and staying with the US, the Supreme Court justices have in fact expressed concerns about allowing President Donald Trump's radical reinterpretation of the Constitution's guarantee of birthright citizenship to in fact go into effect while litigation still continues. In an unusual move, the court heard oral arguments on a series of Trump administration emergency requests seeking to limit the scope of nationwide injunctions that blocked the plan almost as soon as it was announced in January this year. The World Health Organization, or the WHO, has issued a warning, in fact, about the slowing pace of global health progress in its World Health Statistics Report 2025, which was released earlier this week. The report highlighted that by the end of 2024, about 1.4 billion more people were living healthier lives, surpassing the target of 1 billion. Now, this is thanks to initiatives such as smoking control, improved air quality, and better basic health conditions. However, viewers, the data also revealed a concerning drop in global average life expectancy, which decreased by 1.8 years only between 2019 and 2021, a 3-year period, in fact, marking the largest decline in modern history. Dozens of farmers and activists gathered outside the Executive Yuan building in Taipei on Friday to protest against the Taiwanese government's plan to pursue a zero-tariff import policy with Washington, fearing its impact on the agricultural sector. Now, chanting slogans and holding banners reading opposed zero-tariff negotiations, viewers, as you see on your screens right now, the demonstrators voice strong opposition, in fact, to what they see as a threat to farmers' livelihoods. Here's more.
让美方知道呢，我们台湾的人民对这件事情上面的一个不同意。那这样也可以呢， 维持住，就是说台湾的这个粮食自主权以外呢，也可以保障农民他们的这个生活跟工作呢能够持续。
The construction magnate and several builders, designers and engineers surrendered to police Friday on criminal negligence charges for the deadly collapse of a Bangkok high-rise on the 28th of March during the earthquake that in fact hit Myanmar as well. Premachai Karnasuta, the president of Italian Thai Development Company, on your screens right now, the main Thai contractor in fact for the building project, was among the 17 people charged with the felony of professional negligence causing death, Bangkok police have said. They added that those who met police on Friday formally denied the charges. Meanwhile, several previously showed public denials in response to allegations in the media. Now, 92 people were confirmed dead in the rubble of the building that had in fact been under construction, and a small number of other people remain unaccounted for still as we speak. Here's more.
เพราะฉะนั้นแล้วผมก็ต้องรอให้รอบด้านทุกมิติให้ครอบคลุมนะครับก็ขอยืนยันว่าเราจะดำเนินการอย่างตรงไปตรงมานะครับและดำเนินคดีผู้เกี่ยวข้องทั้งหมดทุกคนนะครับ
Well, it's time we step into a short break. I'll see you on the other side.
The legend Shri Anup Jalota ji is back. Samar Events UK presents Anup Jalota live in London. Travel partner Southall Travel. Get ready for an unforgettable night of soulful bhajans, ghazals and Bollywood melodies. The legendary Anup Jalota ji is coming to the Beck Theatre in Hayes on Sunday the 25th of May 2025. Book your seats now. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime musical evening. Radio partner Sunrise Radio.
This year marks the 80th anniversary of VE Day, and to commemorate this historic occasion, we're pleased to announce the official release of a new 50p coin. Celebrating the day that marked the end of World War II in Europe and brought long-awaited peace to our nation, this official new 50p coin has been plated in 24-karat gold and can be yours for the introductory price of just $2.99. Postage is free. Demand for this new 50p coin is certain to be high, so call 0800 988 1468. Head to veday50p.tv or scan the QR code on screen to secure this valuable keepsake for you and your family. The stunning design features a young couple embracing in the streets while the VE Day celebrations continue around them. This 50p is the first in a new series of 50p's highlighting the key moments and events of VE Day. So don't delay. Head to veday50p.tv now.
What they don't tell you about getting older is how much fun it can be. Enjoying all the things you've worked so hard for. Spending time with the people that really matter. Not to mention, finally finding that precious time for yourself. I don't want anything taking my best years away from me, but like so many people, I've seen the heartbreak that dementia can cause. That's why I'm asking everyone to order this essential free guide from Alzheimer's Research UK. It's called Your Brain Matters. We all know what's good for our heart and our lungs, but do you know how to keep your brain healthy too? Well, this guide tells you how, in 7 steps you can start taking right now, whatever your age. Just ring the number on screen to get your free copy. Inside you'll find facts and tips that can keep your brain healthy and help reduce your risk of developing dementia. It's advice you can really trust from leading dementia scientists. Read it, keep it, and check back whenever you need to. Order your free copy now. Call Alzheimer's Research UK on 0800 035 5984 or text BRAIN2 to 78866. Think of it as another way of planning for your best years, because your brain really matters.
Welcome back. You're watching the World Report on NDTV World. On to some business news now. The world economic growth is projected to slow down to 2.4% in 2025. It's down from 2.9% in 2024. Now, this is due to heightened trade tensions and policy uncertainty, according to a mid-year update of the 2025 World Economic Situation and Prospects Report of the United Nations, in fact, which was released on Thursday. That's yesterday. The latest global economy forecast is 0.4 percentage points below the January forecast. In fact, the global economic outlook has deteriorated significantly since the January 2025 forecast. Sweeping United States tariff announcements and counter-announcements, along with heightened political uncertainty, have further eroded global growth prospects, underlined this UN report. On to a Reuters report now, which claims Alphabet's Google One subscription service, which charges consumers for cloud storage and artificial intelligence features, recently crossed 150 million subscribers. That's correct. It represents a 50% increase since February 2024, when Google One crossed 100 million subscribers nearly 6 years after this service launched. Now, the same month, Google introduced a $19.99 a month plan with access to AI capabilities unavailable for free users. The company further continues to offer Google One subscription tiers for file storage, but without most AI features at lower prices. Facebook's parent company, Meta Platforms, has asked a federal U.S. judge to throw out the U.S. Federal Trade Commission's case, accusing it of an illegal social media monopoly, saying the agency failed to prove its case at a high-stakes antitrust trial. Now, at this trial, viewers, which began on the 14th of April in Washington to be precise, the FTC has sought to show that Meta illegally dominated the market for social media platforms used to share updates with friends and family through its acquisitions of Instagram and WhatsApp. The FTC is now seeking to unwind those details, which occurred more than a decade ago. Barclays no longer expects the U.S. economy to slip into a recession later this year and has, in fact, revised up its growth forecast. Now, this comes, in fact, amid signs of a de-escalation in U.S.-China trade tensions, the bank said in a note release Thursday. Barclays said it now expects the U.S. economy to grow 0.5% this year and 1.6% next year, up from previous forecasts of minus 0.3% and 1.5% respectively. Reduced uncertainty and improved economic backdrop also led Barclays to lift its Euro-era growth expectations. It now forecasts flat economic growth this year compared to a 0.2 contraction in the previous year. United Health Group shares plunged nearly 13% on Thursday after a Wall Street Journal report that the U.S. Department of Justice had, in fact, begun a criminal investigation into the company for potential Medicare fraud. If that's correct, the report probe adds to a string of recent setbacks for the healthcare conglomerate that has erased more than half, or over $300 billion, from its market value since only November of last year, when shares were trading at record highs. In the world of sports, India's javelin star Neeraj Chopra has arrived in Qatar. You see the visuals on your screen. He's set to compete, in fact, in the Doha Diamond League, launching his 2025 campaign. Meanwhile, opponent and friend Olympic champion Arshad Nadeem from Pakistan will not take part in this league. When asked about his friendship with Olympic champion Arshad Nadeem from Pakistan, the athlete said that things will not be the same after the recent Indo-Pak conflict. From javelin to football now, where Cristiano Ronaldo has topped Forbes' list of the world's highest paid athletes for the third consecutive year, in fact, and the fifth time in his career. Following his move to Saudi Arabian club Al Nassr, Ronaldo's estimated total earnings are around $275 million a year. The Portuguese forward increased his income by $15 million through off-field endorsements as well as lucrative sports deals backed by his large social media followers, 939 million in total to be precise as of May 2025. Well, that's all we have for you this Friday. Have a lovely weekend and I'll see you again on Monday.
Nothing beats a celebration. And at Tesco Mobile, we're ringing in 30 years of Club Card with deals like The awesome new Samsung Galaxy A56 with 12 gigs of data for just £27.99 a month with club card prices, saving you £144. Better yet, that price is frozen for the duration of your contract, and you can even bag a £30 Tesco gift card too. It pays to be connected. Search Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
The legend Shri Anup Jalota ji is back. Samar Events UK presents Anup Jalota live in London. Travel partner Southall Travel. Get ready for an unforgettable night of soulful bhajans, ghazals and Bollywood melodies. The legendary Anup Jalota ji is coming to the Beck Theatre in Hayes on Sunday the 25th of May 2025. Book your seats now. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime musical evening. Radio partner Sunrise Radio.
Magic family moments deserve the perfect setting. A stylish awning from House is the ideal addition to your outdoor space. Available in a range of colours and finishes, and with the option of integrated lighting and heating, you can enjoy your outdoor space for even longer. Now that is magic. House awnings, made for life.
If your garage looks like this, you need Tougher Man. A leading supplier of shelving for your home or business. Assembly is quick, easy and boltless. Buy one bay from just $59.99, or you can get 3 bays from only $119.99, saving you nearly £60. Plus you get a 5-year Storelex steel guarantee. Order now at tougherman.co.uk.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000. Get your conditional decision in minutes.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
Thanks for staying with NDTV. You're watching the Friday edition of the World Report. I'm Arjun, Samar, Mahendran. Let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has asked the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, to reconsider its $2.1 billion bailout to debt-ridden Pakistan, as it allows terrorists to in fact use its soil for launching state-sponsored attacks against Indian citizens. Now, a day after he visited Jammu and Kashmir, a defence minister is at the Bhuj Air Base in Gujarat. And remember, viewers, that in the midst of the recent military tensions, the Pakistani army attempted and failed miserably to target India's Bhuj using drones. The Bhuj Air Base was one of the installations targeted by the Pakistan military last week. Now, here's what the defence minister said in Bhuj.
निश्चित रूप से इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड से आने वाले $1 बिलियन के बड़े हिस्से को टेरर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को फंड करने में इस्तेमाल होगा, ऐसा मेरा मानना है। क्या यह इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड IMF द्वारा, जो कि एक इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, उसके द्वारा इनडायरेक्ट फंडिंग इसे नहीं माना जाएगा? मैं दुनिया के लोगों के सामने यह सवाल रखना चाहता हूं। इसलिए मैं मानता हूं कि आज के समय में पाकिस्तान को किसी भी तरह की आर्थिक सहायता टेरर फंडिंग से कम नहीं है। भारत यही चाहेगा कि IMF पाकिस्तान को अपनी $1 बिलियन की असिस्टेंस पर वह पुनर्विचार करे और आगे भी किसी भी तरह की सहायता देने से IMF परहेज करे।
And for our viewers just joining in, Defence Minister Arjun Singh has asked the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, to in fact reconsider its $2.1 billion bailout to debt-ridden Pakistan. Now this comes as the country allows terrorists to use its toiled sill for launching state-sponsored attacks against Indian citizens. Now, a day after he visited Jammu and Kashmir, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is at the Bhuj Air Base in Gujarat. You must remember that in the midst of the recent military tensions, the Pak Army attempted to target India's Bhuj using drones. The Bhuj Air Base was in fact one of the key installations targeted by the Pakistani military last week. And once again, here's what the Defence Minister had to say at Bhuj. And before we go to that, my colleague Gauri Dwivedi joins me on this story. Gauri, a very clear statement coming in from the Defence Minister. I see a very clear statement, Gauri, in fact, coming in from the Defence Minister from Bhuj. And not just to Pakistan, but also to the IMF.
Absolutely. Indeed, Arjun, a very clear message, direction, and also intent when it comes to what really India's position is going to be. India has categorically said that any terrorist attack going forward will be an act of war. And that's exactly how any future attacks, if at all they take place, will be viewed. Now, where do most of these attacks are coming in? They are coming in from Pakistan. So it's not just a message to terrorists, it's also a message to Pakistan, which continues to harbor some of the most globally wanted terrorists in the world. So it's a message, a very clear, direct message to Pakistan. And as far as also, the fact that IMF and several other multilateral agencies around the world continue to keep funding the war machinery, at some point of time, there has to be a global consensus, a global position as to how long will these lending machineries continue, because at the end of the day this money flows back to not the economy, not to the welfare of the people of Pakistan, but to the Pakistani terror machinery. And I think that is extremely important. It is maybe a matter of time before India is able to build some sort of a global consensus to end these financial helplines that fund terror instead of helping the ordinary Pakistani.
Thank you so much, Gauri, for getting us the latest on that. Now, moving on, Russia and Ukraine are set to hold their first direct peace talks in 3 years, viewers. Both countries have said, but hopes for a breakthrough remain dim. This after Russian President Vladimir Putin spurned an offer by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to in fact meet face-to-face in Turkey. Zelensky said he was sending a team headed by his defense minister to Istanbul for the talks, even as he said the Russian delegation did not include anyone who actually makes decisions, accusing Moscow of not only making efforts to end the war, but also ignoring